Good afternoon students, this is your Prasanna Ma'am from NEET World. So yes, we are in our last session from the chapter Modes of Reproduction. So here we have to deal with post-fertilization events and then we will go on solving the EAPCET previous year questions. So yes, let's get started. Under post-fertilization events, we have to look into two major events, ma'am. Under post-fertilization events, we have to look into two major things. One is zygote formation and development. Under zygote development, it comes the concept of embryogenesis. So in simple terms, we have to deal with two segments, that is zygote formation and embryogenesis, that is embryo formation. Embryo formation. So here it is very important to note it, beta. Zygote formation will take place, zygote formation occurs or zygote is formed. This is the product of what? Fertilization. Zygote is the product of fertilization and this is the first cell which starts sporophytic generation in the life cycle of plant bodies. Okay, if you consider the algae, bryophytes and pteridophytes, which are the primitive plants, zygote is the cell which starts the sporophytic generation. Okay. Zygote is the cell which starts sporophytic generation. Important point to be noted, we can expect a connecting question with plant kingdom. So zygote here, this starts what? This is the starting cell which is starting the sporophytic generation of algae, bryophytes and pteridophytes. Fine, right. Next you see, after this, the zygote which is starting the sporophytic generation in algae, bryophytes and pteridophytes. Based on the life cycle of the plant body, zygote can undergo meiosis or mitosis. Zygote can undergo meiosis or mitosis. Fine, right. So here if you see in algae and fungi which has haplontic life cycle mostly. Of course, there are some exceptions for algae. Fine, right, like fucus is having diplontic life cycle, Ectocarpus dictyota will be having haplodiplontic life cycle, but then most of the algae will be having what life cycle, beta? Algae will be having haplontic life cycle. So most of the algae and fungi will be having haplontic life cycle, in that zygote is the cell which is diploid and that undergoes zygotic meiosis. So in most of the algae and fungi which has haplontic life cycle, okay, this has haplontic life cycle. Fine, right. So as it is having haplontic life cycle, zygote will undergo what? Meiosis, and that is addressed as zygotic meiosis. This occurs in algae and fungi. In the plants like bryophytes, pteridophytes, gymnosperms and angiosperms which are advanced, in all these what happens, because zygote undergoes mitotic divisions, sequential mitotic divisions for the formation of embryo here. So here zygote undergoes sequential mitotic division, zygote which is diploid, this undergoes sequential mitotic divisions to form a diploid embryo. This happens in where? Bryophytes, pteridophytes, gymnosperms and angiosperms. Fine, right. This is the whole concept of zygote that you have to know. Okay, where is zygote actually formed? Zygote formation is the very first step of where it is starting the sporophytic generation, and zygote is formed outside the body if it is external fertilization, and zygote is formed inside the female body if it is internal fertilization. Where is zygote actually formed? Okay, zygote formation is outside if it is following internal fertilization, if it is external fertilization and internal fertilization, zygote is formed inside the female body. Fine, right? It is archegonia. It is formed inside archegonia if it is in bryophytes, pteridophytes and gymnosperms. And it is formed, zygote formation occurs inside the embryo sac, which is the female gametophyte, in the angiosperms. In angiosperms, it is formed inside the, in angiosperms, zygote formation occurs inside the embryo sac. These are the key points to be noted. Okay, key points to be noted and highlighted. Okay, now beta. Fine, right? Okay. So, where is zygote formed and whether zygote is undergoing meiotic divisions, that is zygotic meiosis, or mitotic divisions. Okay, these things should be highlighted. In which type of life cycles do you see zygotic mitosis of zygote? You can see it in haplodiplontic life cycle and diplontic life cycle. In haplontic life cycle, that is operated in algae and fungi, you can see zygotic meiosis. Till here it is clear na beta. Next is embryogenesis. Embryogenesis is nothing but formation of embryo, and here in post fertilization events what happens is, after embryo formation, after embryo which is formed from zygote which undergoes mitosis and forms embryo, right ma'am, and embryo later develops to seed. So, here in the post fertilization, embryo develops to seed, that is embryo which is present inside the ovule, ovule after post fertilization will turns to seed, and ovary turns to fruit, ovary turns to fruit. Fruit is encoded by outer wall, fruit wall, which is known as pericarp, which is thick and fleshy. Okay, this pericarp, based on whether it is divisible or indivisible, we have different types of fruits like dry fruits and fleshy fruits. Clear, right? So, this concept of dry fruits, fleshy fruits, false fruits, we have learnt in detail from morphology of flowering plants, right ma? So, here there is a concept of vivipary. So, seed formation in most of the plants, it is taking place outside the body, like seeds which seeds after formed, they will be sown or germinated under favorable conditions, yes or no, and seeds can be stored as well. But in few plants like mangroves which grow in swampy areas and salt, high salt concentrated areas which are halophytes, right, in those areas, because of extreme salt stress or biotic stress, the seeds cannot germinate outside the plant body. So, seeds will germinate when it is attached to the plant itself. Seed which is formed in the plant body, that is common in all the plants, but seed starts germinating in the plant body itself. Okay, seeds will start germinating over the plant body itself, and that concept is known as vivipary. This is observed mostly in the plants which are in the stressful conditions where seeds are unable to germinate, right. So, here in mangroves, if you see, they are the halophytes which grow in extreme salt conditions. As such, seeds cannot germinate in extreme salt conditions. So, here seed germination, that is vivipary, seed germination takes place when it is present in the plant body itself. Vivipary is a special reproductive adaptation in which seed germinates while still it is attached to the parent plant. instead undergoing dormancy after seed formation. This will undergo dormancy after seed formation to undergo. Okay. In mangroves, germination occurs inside the fruit on the mother plant itself, and embryo grows into what? Seedling when it is attached to the parent body itself, and this develops into a propagule. Now this is called as what? Propagule. This propagule will be detaching from the parent plant and it can grow in the halophilic conditions, but seed germination is impossible in those environmental conditions. So that is why seed germination happens when it is attached to the parent body itself. Next, mangroves grow in extreme coastal environments. Okay, mangroves will grow in extreme coastal environments like in saline waters, waterlogged or anaerobic mud conditions, tidal fluctuations, unstable soil. In these areas or in these extreme coastal environments, mangroves will grow. So under such conditions, normal seed dormancy and germination in soil would fail. Vivipary will ensure immediate establishment and survival. When the propagule will detach from the parent plant, that will immediately grow into a new plant individual. Next it is the life cycle of angiosperms that is given in this chapter. Okay. Just give me the term, I will explain you. Good afternoon. Leena is your name? Yes. Just give me the term that which you didn't understand, I will be clarifying it. Yeah. So here if you see life cycle of angiosperms. Life cycle of angiosperms, here you see. First, the main plant body of angiosperm is sporophytic plant body. Sporophytic plant body. When it is sporophytic plant body, it is diploid, right? Okay, it is diploid. Diploid sporophytic plant body, right ma? So it is having the sporophyte plant body is diploid, so root, stem, leaf, flower, everything which is present in the plant body is diploid. So here everything is diploid, sporophyte diplontic plant body, and this bears sexual organs also. Okay, the reproductive organ of the angiosperm is what? Flower. Female reproductive structure is gynoecium or pistil. Male reproductive structure is androecium or stamens. Okay, male reproductive structure is androecium or stamens. As such, all of them will be diploid in ploidy. Okay, their ploidy will be diploid. So here if you see beta, ovary is diploid, style, stigma, everything is diploid in the megasporangium. Megaspore mother cells will be diploid. Megaspore mother cells which are present inside the ovule will be diploid. Okay, and from the megaspore mother cell, reductional division will happen, that is meiosis, and embryo sac is formed over here. And same the case, the male reproductive structure which is androecium or stamens is diploid, microsporangium is diploid. Microsporangium will undergo reductional division forming haploid microspores. Okay, this forms what? Haploid microspores. Now this haploid microspore will mature to what? Haploid pollen grain. Haploid microspores matures to what beta? Haploid pollen grains. Pollen grain landing onto the suitable stigma or compatible stigma, this will germinate or give rise to what? Pollen tube, and this pollen grain which is haploid will again undergo a mitotic divisions giving out gametes. Okay, just a second meta, I will address you. Gametes, male gametes, they will fuse with the egg cell. Fine, right. So in this life cycle, one more point to be highlighted, one male gamete fusing with the egg cell which is haploid, this forms of course a diploid zygote. Second male gamete will fuse with the polar nuclei or central cell which is present at the center. Okay, polar nuclei which is diploid, and this is haploid. This will be resulting in what? Primary endospermic nucleus which is triploid. So here two fusions will be happening. So this is called as what? Double fertilization. Then zygote undergoes sequential mitotic divisions and this forms out to be what? Haploid embryo, diploid embryo. Diploid zygote will give rise to diploid embryo. Later it matures to what? Diploid sporophytic plant body. This is the complete life cycle of angiosperms. Here if you see, the gametophytic generation is very limited only up to the haploid microspores or pollen grains or haploid egg cell. Only this is haploid gametophytic generation. Rest complete phase is what? Diploid sporophytic generation. Clear, right? Clear till here? This is the complete life cycle of angiosperms. Yes ma, you can ask your doubt. Datta. Who's this? You can ask your doubt. And here Rudra Prasad, your doubt. Ma'am, my biosyllabus is complete and MTG fingerprints completely done. Along with Akash modules complete in my first drop. What to do now for next 4 months? What to solve? So Rudra Prasad, this is my advice. Like how fast you will complete biology syllabus, that fast you will the complete thing will be volatile from your mind. So make sure beta each day, not more than 2 hours, 1 hour for botany and 1 hour for zoology, you please spare by listing out a proper revision slots. Might be you have completed all the modules and the NCERT fingerprints and NCERT reading also, but then there might be small topics which are still in the difficult zone. So just have a revision plan, daily 1 hour for botany and 1 hour for zoology, and frequently practice the objectives once again. Okay, there you will have a second round or third round of revision. Till the exam date, you should be engaged with the revision of all the concepts, ma'am. Have a plan and revise. If the revision time is minimized, you can minimize the revision time, but don't stop revising the concepts. That is my advice. Okay, if you stop revising the concepts, easily everything will get volatile. If you want, you can try for 1 week also, because still you have 4 months of time. Anyhow, you have completed the complete syllabus, right? For 1 week, you don't read anything from biology, and later you see like how far you can remember the concepts bolke. Okay, so here my advice for you is beta, have a revision plan onto your comfort, your comfortable revision plan. Daily 1 hour for botany and 1 hour for zoology. If that is more for you, have 40 minutes of time and revise and practice. Okay, fragment the concepts into chunks. Daily 1 concept you revise and practice the objective. That is my advice for you. And Datta, you can ask me your doubt beta. You can ask me your doubt, I will be answering. Yeah. So with this, life cycle of angiosperms is done. So from modes of reproduction, if you see in your previous year EAPCET questions, not much questions are asked, but this chapter stands as a foundation for many other chapters. The questions will be asked in link with plant kingdom, in link with morphology of flowering plants and sexual reproduction of flowering plants. So you have to go through this chapter in detail. Very good ma, very good. Yeah, it's my pleasure clarifying your doubt. Yeah, thank you. Next. So here you see ma, solve this PYQs. Rudra Prasad, even you can solve this ma. Even you can solve this. Datta, even you can try out this. First question. This question is in connection with plant kingdom ma. This is in connection with plant kingdom. And to all the students who are writing EAPCET exam or not writing EAPCET exam, it is up to you. But my advice to you is, those concepts which are in common with the NEET syllabus, those PYQs you solve beta. PYQs of EAPCET you solve it. It is like a net practice for NEET also. Yeah. Look into this question first. Monoecious plant. Tell me, monoecious plant is also known as bisexual or unisexual plant? Bisexual, right? Bisexual or heterothalic also you can use it. Fine, right? So here monoecious, what is a monoecious plant over here? Khara. Okay, it has female reproductive structure, male reproductive structure. Female reproductive structure known as nucleus and male one is globule. Next is vivipary. Just now we have learned, right? Vivipary is seen in mangroves like Rhizophora and Avicennia. Fine, right? Next is Gemmacups. These are observed in liverworts which will promote vegetative propagation. Heterogametes. Heterogametes you can see in fucus and cycas. Fucus of algae and cycas from gymnosperms. Clear, right? Very good, Rudra Prasad. The answer is D, option D. Good mark. Next question. Try out this as well. Statement based question. Which combination of statements is correct? Try out this also, ma. Yeah. Here you see meiosis has to occur if diploid body has to produce gametes. Yes, diploid body will produce haploid gametes, then meiosis will occur. This is true. Next, in Cladophora, it is not impossible to categorize male and female gametes, true, because they are isogametes. Male gamete and female gamete are structurally and physiologically similar to each other. Next, organisms exhibiting external fertilization will show great synchrony between sexes. Yes, of course, true. And in Wolffia, isogametes can be seen. No, Wolffia is the smallest angiosperm. Here isogametes cannot be observed. So here what will be the right answer? Just look into that and answer, ma. Yeah, what will be the right answer, beta? Option D is wrong though. A, B and C. Option B is the right answer. We need to identify the correct statements. Whenever statement based question is asked, look into whether they are asking us to identify the right set of statements or incorrect set of statements. Look into this. Choose the incorrect statement. In sporophyll of pteridophytes, sporangia are seen on the margins of leaflet. Yes, in sporophylls of pteridophytes, sporangia are seen on the margins of the leaflet. True. In water hyacinth, oxygen is stored leading to death of the fish. Wrong. Okay, in water hyacinth, that is Eichhornia, where oxygen is not stored, oxygen is deficient. Oxygen is deficient. That leads to the death of fish. So here A is correct and B is wrong. Next question. This is very easy actually. Connected to ploidy. You can say this is a connectivity question for sexual reproduction of flowering plants and also to cell cycle and cell division. If the endosperm cell of an angiosperm has 24 chromosomes, okay, endosperm cell is having how many chromosomes, beta? 24 chromosomes. Okay, the root cell of angiosperm will be diploid because angiosperms are having diplontic plant body, right? Because it is having diplontic life cycle, so sporophytic plant body is diploid. Root cells are diploid. And pollen grains comes under gametophytic generation. Just now we have seen, right? So pollen grains are haploid. This will be the ploidy range. So, if endosperms are having 24 chromosomes whose ploidy is triploid, then of course root cell whose ploidy is diploid will be having 16 chromosomes, accepted or not, and pollen grain whose ploidy is haploid, which comes into gametophytic generation. Pollen grains whose ploidy is haploid, this comes under what? Gametophytic generation. Here the number of chromosomes will be 8 chromosomes. Okay, number of chromosomes are 8 chromosomes. So, here endosperms are having 24 chromosomes, root cells will be having 16 chromosomes and pollen grains 8 chromosomes. So, this is option A. You can take a screenshot of this question if you want, ma. Next. Assertion and reason type of question. Vegetative propagules are capable of giving rise to new offsprings. True, vegetative propagules can give rise to a new offspring. Reproduction occurs when spores produced in large number in fungi. Yes, reproduction occurs with spores produced in large number in fungi. Yes, reproduction will occur, but it can be asexual or sexual. True. Okay, it can be asexual or sexual, right? So, A is true and R is true, but R is nowhere explaining the assertion. Reason is not explaining assertion. This is option B. Next question you look into, ma. Yeah. Assertion reason type again. Assertion reason type again. Look at this question. In assertion, the algae haplontic life cycle is dominant phase. Yes, in algae haplontic life cycle is dominant phase. In reason, in many algae zygote divides by meiosis. Yes, zygote will divide by meiosis immediately after karyogamy to form haploid spores. True. In algae haplontic life cycle is yes dominant phase. In algae zygote undergoes meiosis. Okay. So, here both A and R are true, and again reason is not explaining the assertion. Look into the next question, beta. Pre-fertilization events include which of the following? Pre-fertilization events include gametogenesis. Zygotic embryogenesis is a post-fertilization event. Next is gamete transfer, homogametic union, heterogametic union. This both comes under fertilization events. Fertilization events. Okay. So, here 1 and 3. Option D is the right answer. Next question. Assertion and reason type of question again. Male and female flowers on same plant is dioecious. On different plants it will be monoecious. Okay. Male and female plants on the same plant is dioecious. On different plants it will be monoecious. Wrong, because dioecious can also be used as what, ma? Unisexual. Means male and female flowers will be on separate plants. Monoecious is also addressed as what? Bisexual, where male and female flowers will be on the same plant. So, A is wrong. In reason, male flower is staminate and female flower is pistillate. So, here assertion is wrong and reason is true. Next question you look into, ma. Direct question from the text. One of the following is called as terror of Bengal. Yes, terror of Bengal is what? Water hyacinth. Water hyacinth is what? Terror of Bengal. Next question. Assertion and reason type. VV Parry, which is asked in EAPCET 2018. In assertion, in some plants, seeds germinate while still they are attached to the mother plant. Yes, true. In some plants, seeds germinate while still they are attached to the mother plant. It reduces abiotic stress and ensures successful establishment of plant. True, here reason is explaining the assertion, why they are attached to the plant, but nowhere in this question the term vivipary is used. That is the beauty of this question. Okay, just by looking into the concept you have to understand from which segment they have picked the question. Next, assertion and reason type ma. Bamboo is perennial and shows unusual flowering. True. Reason, bamboo flowers once after 50 to 100 years. True. Both A and R are true, and R is the correct explanation of A. Last question ma. Last question. Seed germinates on mother plant under stress conditions. Okay, yes, seed will germinate on the mother plant under stressful conditions. True. In Rhizophora, and if at all in your options Avicennia is also given, you can proceed with that ma. Rhizophora and Avicennia, these are mangroves. Fine, right? These are mangroves, Rhizophora and Avicennia. Okay, which is option C, correct, right? So, if you look into the previous year EAPCET papers, most of the questions were asked from what? Vivipary concept, few questions were asked from unusual flowering of bamboo, few ploidy set of questions, but mostly you can see multi-statement based and assertion reason type of questions from this chapter. In our next session, we are starting with the chapter of sexual reproduction of flowering plants, which is very broad and wide, where you can expect easily 2 to 3 questions every year in your EAPCET. We will solve with EAPCET PYQs as well. So, stay tuned, revise this chapter, then next chapter will be easy for you ma. Yeah, thank you.